Oh, why is it not coming through? Is it not coming through? What's going on here?
It's going through. It's so smooth here at the Ron Ross Radio Show podcast. Hi, welcome in. Thank you so much for hanging with us. I'm Ron Ross. That dude over there is John Yaglinski, the executive producer of this here podcast. Now,
I
here's
just
the cool
realized
thing.
it's wrong.
Just a couple of days ago, I was sitting where he is right now. Now, what you don't see, and I don't know how John's gonna be able, if he's gonna be able to take the camera down or not, but there's a whole other room to his right where I thought it was just like this tiny little room and this little thing. No. Now he is talking into the corner of the room. That's where the camera is. Okay. So, and he's up on the third floor, by the way. I'm giving you the layout of John's house because I went there. And so all the way on his right, your left, as you're looking at it, there's a big foyer, and he's got shelves and tchotchkes and toys. And I have this stuff. He's got his stuff, which you don't see.
Right.
Still very cool.
I don't know if I can do this.
I don't know if you can.
I don't know if I can reach. Yeah, actually, I can.
Okay. Oh, there you go. All right, look. See, look at that. Look at that. See, he's got all of his. There you go. Thank you, John. Look at that. And that goes off into the rest of the house. But I'm just there's his bass that he never plays. I literally walked up and and made sure that saw if there was dust on it, and there was. So I'm on him about that. He needs to pick up his bass and play it. It's a really nice bass. And there's his setup, his studio setup, which I got to use, which was a lot of fun. Okay, now he's gonna.
All right, hold on. I'm putting it back.
We can continue on. There's the little studio. I got nothing else, by the way. This is it. What you see is what you get. There's a window over here. Okay. There's the window to outside. There's my. Oh, you can see my Spider-Man sketch that was done by Greg LaRock, the artist who was doing a
nice.
I know. I was really excited. $25, and he took I don't know, almost 20 minutes, 25 minutes to put it together.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Wow.
Right, and then over here, see, there's a closet and everything. That's where the Abbey Road backdrop is going to go over there. But see, there you go. Now we've done our tours.
Okay.
Nice. Of our
very good
studio.
And I just realized the reason why I couldn't hear the theme was because my headphones were not plugged in. And that was as a result of us rejiggering the studio so you could do your work here.
Yes, because I was still on the air at Key 103. Well, we're going to get to that in just a half second.
Okay. All right.
But first things first, welcome into the podcast. Thank you so much for hanging with us. If you're watching the video version of it on Facebook and on YouTube, thank you. If you haven't done it already, please hit the subscribe and like buttons and share with your friends and tell them that you're here. If you listened to me back in the day on Sirius XM The Pulse, well, this is a different version of that show, but basically it's the same kind of show, doing silly goofy things like we usually do, except no music,
right?
Because I can't play the music. I think it's a legal thing, but so it's just a lot of talking. There's Jennifer, who is and you can comment anytime on both YouTube and on Facebook if you'd like. And we will interact and say hi and what's up and
good
all
morning,
the things.
Susan. Good morning.
And
good morning.
Just put it in the comment section and it'll pop up. But thank you so much for chilling with us. If you're listening to the audio version of it, then thank you for that. You can get it wherever you get your major podcasts. Appreciate it.
Yes. Especially when John actually updates and uploads things. So we had somebody comment about that. So
yeah, we did. I'm
going to come clean. I'm a little behind on uploading the episodes. You can always watch them on Facebook Live or YouTube, or the archived versions of the shows. The audio one that gets pushed out to the podcast feed needs to be updated. I'm about
there you go.
So just letting you know, don't freak out. They're going to be up there. I will get that updated.
Nice.
Okay.
Thank you. Yes, John. Well, John does a lot of work aside from the podcast. He does but I'm going to get into all of that in just a second. First things first, though, we want to gosh, I don't even know how to. We would just draw attention, of course, obviously Milton, Hurricane Milton in the Gulf right now, heading towards Tampa and that area, and we've got maps and all the things. But I have a bunch of friends in the area, and people have moved to safety. Some have not. But whatever, they know what they're doing. That's entirely up to them. But it's just unbelievable on the heels of Helene, the 1-2 punch that is happening in that area. And I don't even want to say my heart goes out. I mean, I don't even know how to express the concern for everything that's going on with Hurricane Milton that is headed to. When I saw it was named Milton, I'm like, oh, come on, it's just not, doesn't have a lot of gravitas as a name. But you know what? When you start looking at how big this thing is going to be, and it's going to be a Category 5 storm, is that as high as it goes, or does it go to 6?
Nope, 5 is the highest, and basically that's 100. I think it's like 157. I could be wrong.
Yeah,
157 miles an hour.
Sustained winds.
Above.
Sustained winds. So
yeah,
it's at that. It can gust higher,
right?
But that's sustained winds. The least it would be.
This one yesterday, before it did the eyewall refresh, and by the way, I'm a little bit of a weather nerd. Yeah, I post a lot about it. Hit 180 miles an hour with gusts up to 220 miles an hour. This, folks, is a major hurricane. It literally is on the books now in like the top 4, I think, to come out of the Gulf, 4 or 5. It could be catastrophic. So if you are in the path, if you are, basically anywhere in that Tampa Bay, north or south region where you're kind of seeing the red zone here on the screen, get the heck out. Would you please?
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know if the evacuation order is in, but the governor of Florida. What's that?
Certain areas it is. My parents are in Venice, Florida.
Okay.
Zones A and B were evacuated this morning. Zone C, basically, get out.
So they're on the way. Are they driving or flying? What are they doing?
I had a little argument with them this morning, and so did both of my brothers. And apparently, after that, they decided to leave. And so they're headed.
So they're coming to your place.
Here. Yeah, they're going to head here. Which, by the way, we're under a tropical storm watch.
See that yellow area? That yellow area on South Carolina?
Yeah, right.
He is right
at the border of Georgia,
bottom of South Carolina. That's Hilton Head.
Where we are.
That's where they are.
Yep.
So, by the way, I drove all that way. I'm going to get into that in just a second.
He drove from all the way here,
all the way up there, to all the way down there.
Yeah.
Which I'll get into that in just a second, but I still wanted to focus a little bit, hyper focus on this, because while I was gone, actually, greatest wife ever, I'm like, what are you doing? Oh, we're going to do a happy hour on Friday and, have the girls come over, her friends, they call them the girls, and so we're going to go and do this. I'm going to run to the dollar store and get some essentials. And because it does really well. The dollar stores, you're going to get I don't know what she got, but she got essentials at the dollar store. And then they sat around and they had a few drinks and they ate some tacos and they filled up bags to send to Helene victims. There was a veterans group that was driving directly down to North Carolina to, I think it was I'm going to get it wrong, an American Legion or an AMVETS or one of those veteran organizations would be distributing from there.
Yep.
Okay. So it was just one of those things where she was motivated and did. I mean, I just can't be prouder of this woman. But, and if I'm gone, John and I are hanging out, trying to drink. And I say try to drink because I'll explain that a little bit later on, because I said to your wife, John, later, like Saturday night, I'm like, I don't know. I've kind of lost my drinking mojo, Gene.
We discovered we're a little older now.
Because we've been out in the after. All right, anyway, I'll get into that in just a second.
Yeah,
I'm getting off the beaten track. Squirrel, shocker.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, but anyway, so just drawing attention to and the cleanup after Helene is still going on, and then there's some areas that might be hit by this again. It's really amazing. I think. Do yourself a favor if I was just just a little bit of advice from me to you, if because it's going to be replaced in the news cycle pretty fast, because the election is now less than 4 weeks away from today. Actually, 4 weeks away from today is the election, so it's going to be all about that. But these are people who are losing almost everything, if not everything, and family members, and the death toll is just so. Even though it's probably going to cycle out of the news cycle, just try to keep that all in mind. And I don't know if you want to find a charity that you want to give to, and give a donation, AmericanRedCross.org, or Salvation Army, whatever you think is a reputable firm, then I urge you to please remember that, because it's gonna get lost. It's gonna get lost in the shuffle, because we have an election. Well, what was going on in Israel, the anniversary of the attack of Hamas yesterday, and then all of the protests going on, and so on, and a war and bombings and all of that. So Helene, which is not a distant memory, but it's already in a memory. And now Milton is going to get lost. It's just the way things work out. So we got to try to remember that and be diligent about that. And I'll try to remember and remind each other and us as the podcast move forward. All right, I'm off my soapbox. Just trying to stay focused with where I would like my attention to be, and it's up to you where it's going to be. But thank you so much for hanging out with us. We really appreciate that. So I, for the first time since how long you been there? 8-9 years?
8-ish, 9-ish.
John moved. Yeah. John used to live in Maryland. He was literally 10 minutes down the road from me in Urbana, Maryland. And his wife is a Maryland native and went to the University of Maryland at the same time I did. She's to go Terps. And
Fear the turtle.
So they moved to South Carolina, and I got to visit them for the first time ever over the weekend. And wow, what a great time. It's I get to see and talk to John now a lot more often than I have over the years because of the podcast. But to actually be in person, it's a different animal, obviously, as you can tell.
Yeah.
So I took the trip, went to Hilton Head Island, South Carolina, which is right up the coast. We took a look at the map, and it's right there, right at almost at the Georgia border. Yes. Savannah is what, a little over a half hour away?
It's about 40 minutes, 20 minutes as the crow flies, about 45 minutes. Why do we say that? As the crow
flies? It's just a direct line. I guess a direct line of sight. I don't know.
Why is it a crow? Why isn't it sparrow flies?
Is it? I don't know. A sparrow? What kind of sparrow is it?
I don't know.
He could carry the husks in his talons.
Yes.
No.
No.
Nothing, John?
Nothing.
No.
Oh, what is that?
Wow.
What is that? What is that from?
What kind of swallow is it? It's that's Monty Python and the Holy Grail. He's got 2 coconuts. Where'd you get the coconuts?
So
because they couldn't afford horses. So yeah. Right. So they had somebody behind him, and he's banging 2 coconuts together. Where did you get the coconuts? We got it from a swallow. A swallow?
A swallow.
What kind of swallow? And then they talked about the 2 different kinds of swallows.
Oh goodness.
He could have held it by the husks.
Yes. And there it is. So that's funny. It's obscure.
Yeah. It's obscure. It's an obscure reference. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But you only know fellow Monty Python. As you're watching, I've noticed this with Monty Python. You're not laughing while you're watching it. It's only afterwards when you are recounting it with someone who also has watched it. You can't recount it to somebody who's never seen it, because they're not going to get it, nor are they going to care at all. And you just sound like an idiot, which is pretty much what Monty Python sounds like. But if you are recounting it with somebody else then who has seen it, then of course, then it's joy. Pure joy. Luxury. All right. Here we go. Jim looked up As the Crow Flies, and he's posted it on our Facebook page. Allow me to read.
Yes, go ahead.
The Scots English phrase, the crow rode, predates the phrase as the crow flies. The latter phrase appears in English in 1767. The modern American English phrase seems to have been made popular by Charles Dickens, who used it in his book, Oliver Twist.
All right, there you go.
Can I have more? More?
Yeah.
Squirrel.
Exactly.
Who said squirrel? Who posted that?
Jennifer, of course.
Squirrel. All right.
So as the crow flies,
Yeah.
You can see. If you could
Oh,
fly
there's Savannah. Okay.
directly from the corner of Hilton Head to Savannah, it would be a short trip. But you can't. You have to go back out, around, and down.
Yeah. And John kept saying that Hilton Head Island is a tennis shoe. It's a shoe. It's a tennis shoe. And I had no idea what he was talking about till he showed me. And there it is. There's the shoe.
And these are the laces.
John lives on the heel.
Right here.
There's a little marshland there. So they're not going to build anything. So he's got a great view.
Literally. In here.
Great view. Right.
Yes.
So. And went all over the island. We had many restaurants and many places of interest. I learned a lot of history. I am my father's son, so I was really kind of interested in a lot of the history of the area, because that's my dad was the guy who would pull over to the side of the road
and read the things,
read on the highway placards on the side of the road, and would read them out aloud to us, to my brothers and me. My younger brother now, Greg, is a history teacher. Yeah, I wonder where he got that. Yeah. So
wonder.
I ran in the opposite direction. I'm like, I'm nothing. I'm never doing anything with history. So, but that's okay. I still am very, very interested in that whole thing. So I learned some history in the area, but drove down because I wasn't going to fly. Greatest wife ever did not accompany me on this. So it was a solo trip in the car. And it was it was funny because I used to drive an hour, had an hour commute into work, door to door with no traffic. And then sometimes it was an hour and a half, 2 hours with traffic, just sat in the crap. And it's amazing how much, and I haven't done that in years. I haven't driven since 2020. Driven down, no, 2015, because I used to take the train. So 9 years, haven't driven down to DC in 9 years. It's amazing how those instincts come right back to you in order to get to other lanes and put your turn signal on.
Oh yeah,
last couple of seconds so you could squeeze in between these two cars, and you're behind the truck, and everybody's just zooming past. Oh, and everybody's evenly spaced. You're not gonna let me in, are you? All right, so turn signal. I got to shoehorn my way in, and yeah, all of this going 70 miles per hour plus, and you're NASCARing down a superhighway, and you realize later how absolutely dangerous that could possibly be. And it really is quite dangerous. And, you know, I try to leave a lot of room between trucks and me, and between the car and me. But, you know, if I leave a lot of room, if I even leave enough room, what is it? 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi before you
something like that. Yeah.
Something like that. Especially it should be longer.
3 car lengths at least.
Yeah. At least somebody's going to come in and go, well, it's plenty of room for me. Squeeze in. Then I got to drop back some more. So I was back. So I was back with the driving, and which was fun. I would listen to now you're going to think this is weird, but I was listening to my radio station, Key 103, which is in Frederick, Maryland. And I was listening to it because I was bouncing around listening to other radio stations. I listened to some other satellite services just to see what was going on.
Sure.
And then moved on, and went back to my radio station just to listen to it, and then popped it up on the app. So I was listening on the app in my car all the way down. So I'm down in North Carolina. I'm listening to Key 103. By the time my show came on, because I had taped it, I had tracked it the day before, I was listening to my tracks in the car. I was still on the road at 3 o'clock. It was a 9-hour drive. It was a 9-hour drive, not counting stops, and I took multiple stops.
Yeah,
because I tried not to drink a lot of coffee because, of course, I go to the bathroom. But in my heart medications that I take every day, in there is something to help me from retaining fluid. So it drains fluid from my body.
Diuretic.
It's a diuretic, correct?
Yes.
And
I know only because I take one as well.
Okay. So that was P stop.
Yeah.
Not every half hour.
Right. Well, that's a little extreme.
For a while, for about 2 hours.
Yeah.
And so that adds time as you start to calculate in your mind. Well, okay, I could go, but I'll wait a little while, get some more distance down the road, and I'm like, oh no, I really have to go, and I probably should have gone back at that last.
Yeah,
mapping out
start paying attention to how many miles to the next rest station or whatever.
Right.
Oh, and I wanted to say something. It's not as weird as you might think listening to yourself on the air, because when you're doing it, you're not really listening to yourself. You're performing, as it were, doing your job. So you don't usually get the chance to hear yourself on the air as much, and with the processing or how it sounds on streaming and stuff.
Well,
so
that
I forgive you.
Thank you. Thank you
for listening to yourself.
It really honestly is not an egotistical thing. I want to hear how good I sound. I do want to hear how it sounds, but I want to hear how it sounds in the mix and, whatever. And of course, you're always self-critiquing. So I'm like, oh, I shouldn't have said that, or I could have done that faster. I mean, so actually it's slightly torturous.
A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, like
you're
every,
like,
and,
sometimes you're like, oh God, why did I say it like that? And you're only rolling your eyes.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I made it.
Yes.
However,
I
wanted to bring this up, and I didn't put it on there on my my run of show. Is that as I was getting there, I got a call from the greatest wife ever. So our grandson was over GS1.
There is no GS2
it's because he's the first one.
I know. I don't know. Again, somewhere in my head I invented that there was GS2. No, I don't know why.
No GS2 yet.
I just did.
Not yet. I don't know. We'll keep your
options open.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Right.
It could be GD1.
That's no.
I don't know if we want to use initials.
I'm not sure you want to use that one. I think you might want to skip right over
where
that.
Are the GD garden lanterns? No, nothing. Just me. Anyway. So that's a very obscure reference.
Yeah.
Anybody throw that down? Throw it in the comment section if you know where that's from. Martha, where are the GD garden lands? Greatest wife ever, and I would say that to each other all the time. You don't know?
Nope, I don't get that one either.
All right, okay. So anyway, so he was over, and she wanted to pop on Hocus Pocus on Disney Plus, right? So we have Disney Plus. Next thing I know, I'm getting a call from her, and it's like, what's our password? I'm like, what do you mean, what's our password? We're in. It's already in. I just got a bill. We just paid for the next year. Okay?
What is the password?
I'm like, the password.
Other password.
Right.
Okay, there you go.
And so I'm talking to her. I'm following directions because I get to Hilton Head Island. I'm trying to talk her through this whole thing because it's not being cooperative at all. Meanwhile, I get on the app on my phone. I'm like, I'm already in. We're paid up. I don't know why, try this. So she went to another venue and got in, and she got it. And then while that was happening, I got lost. So I had to turn around and Google Maps is telling me to go this way. That it really was
shocked you got lost. How you?
It's so simple. Well, because there's a business. Was it 278 when you're coming in?
But there are two essentially
and a business.
There's only two ways to get, and they both, by the way, what Ron didn't know is both of the two ways come into one road eventually. So it wouldn't have mattered, but yeah.
Well, it mattered to me. Because somehow I got off.
Apparently,
somehow I got off the beaten track, and anyway, I found it. Got to his house. So
yes,
everything was wonderful. They had a room prepared for me, very much like a hotel room. He said he wanted to make it like a hotel room.
I did.
It was wonderful. And there's the little for the guest. The Wi-Fi password was actually just a QR code, just boop, and then all of a sudden, and you're in.
Welcome to my world.
It was fantastic.
This is how I live. Yeah.
Now. I mentioned
somebody do that somewhere, and I was like, I gotta have that.
Now, I'll say this.
Yes.
One amenity that I knew was you.
Yeah.
Was not you. It was actually your wife.
What?
And that is the folded paper towels
Oh, that thing. Yeah.
in the bathroom in
Yeah.
a little basket on the side, because I didn't want to use the guest towels that were
The
hanging. I was
guest
going to use
towel?
those. I was going to use guests, right? I was going to use those for the shower later.
Right.
But I didn't know if I wanted to use them, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And over on the sink in a bathroom dedicated to me, they're like, "Here's your bathroom." I'm like, "I get my own bathroom." It was awesome.
Yeah.
What are the
Your own
paper
bathroom,
towels that
your
were
own bedroom.
neatly folded and in a little basket? And I just used those every time I went. It was awesome. And I find out from her later, it's when she did childcare.
Yeah.
I completely forgot about that she had
Yeah.
done that for a little while.
For a
Did
little bit.
childcare, and you had to have disposable ways to dry your hands or something like that. So
Yes, that was required. That was one of the requirements, and we've kept it there, and in pretty much all the bathrooms here.
But but come on, man. I saw a paper towel. It had John written all over it. I had no idea.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Neatly folded
That and the container of, if you didn't bring your supplies, we have like little stocks of,
which I used the shampoo, and I'm like,
yes,
body wash.
Tried the Disney collection.
Oh God, it was great.
All the stolen shampoos from the resorts back when they used to do.
You got to go back and replenish, because I took it all.
Yeah, we got plenty. We're good. Yeah. Plus, we had it on the wall, which you could have used that too.
You're out
in the shower. No,
I tried for the shampoo, nothing was coming out.
They're completely full. Maybe need to prime the bucket. I just filled them up. All right. I will go and I will double check that, because we may have some guests coming here.
You got your mom and dad, right?
Yeah, because I just refilled all of those before.
Oh, you know what? And I joked.
You should have let the maid know.
I joked that you'll have to. Way, I made the bed every day.
No tip on the nightstand. I was a little upset about that.
What did I do?
No tip on the nightstand.
I would make the bed every day. And I even joked as I left, I'm like, you might want to pull those sheets and launder them. But I said, but don't worry about it, because it'll be a while before somebody's here.
Nope.
Guess what?
Here we go.
You're gonna have to pull those sheets and launder them. So
do I have Bud wants to know, do you have the collection of different styles of Disney bath bottles? Bud, I've got the H2O ones. I do not go back all the way to the everybody neat and pretty on with the show ones. And people who are Disney will know what I'm talking about. Otherwise, be like, what are you talking about, Jack?
What are you talking about?
Yeah, we got the whole collection, Bud. Everything, including the solar gel in case you go out in the sun. So
we had a great time, because John and his lovely wife Stacy. Now, I've known Stacy since we were 14 or 15.
Wow, that's a long time.
It was a long time ago. Because I met her through a friend of mine that lived in her neighborhood. I didn't, who went to my high school. Anyway, long story. But met her at Skate Haven when we would roller skate. And it was it's so funny, because I even said to her, I'm like, can you imagine we would be as old as we are? I'm not going to say how old we are. And well, actually, how old I am. Did you ever imagine that we'd be in our 60s and still hanging out, which was fun?
Right. It's basically 45 years later.
Yeah. And right. So they were great hosts and took me everywhere on the island. We went to this one place and we had seafood. I got the shrimp because you know me, I'm just a seafood or fried shrimp nut. And they're going, well, look, we're in South Carolina, and they said, and shrimp is everywhere. By the way, in South Carolina, it's a
it's a thing. Yeah.
It's a thing. So I'm like, well, I'm getting shrimp while I'm here. I love shrimp. And but they got the Maryland crab cake, and they're going, it's legit. This guy's good. He's from Maryland, and I saw it.
Yeah.
It was pretty.
It was legit. Yeah, it tasted good.
It was pretty decent, and it was interesting because we met before. Oh, and it was their anniversary.
Yes, it was
33 years. It was their anniversary, which was, they and I'm talking John. I don't know where it was. He was in the shower or something, and I'm talking to his wife, and she said, "Yeah," she had already laid a card out. She said, "John, and little hearts all over it, right? And she said, yeah, we don't buy each other gifts because, whatever. We just agreed not to do that. And I said, yeah, well, my greatest wife ever and I, we say that every, Christmas, and then we wind up buying each other a present anyway, because it's just what we do. Sure enough, John comes bopping down the stairs with 3 or 4 presents and a card. She's like, "You're not supposed to buy it." He goes, "Oh, here you go." They were nice. They were nice. I like those earrings.
Look, it was some things I got part of my Alaska cruise. And then something a few months ago, I thought, oh, well, that would be nice just to give it. Nothing super extravagant, but
no, it wasn't, but it was nice. And it was, and thought ahead. See, husbands actually do think ahead, especially with anniversaries and stuff.
I know. It's shocking.
We get a bad rap about that. And I was telling your wife that I was taught a trick by my dad to put your wedding anniversary in your wedding band.
I had that.
You would always
not
remember, and you would never forget it. If you were coming up on the date and you're like, when is my anniversary? Put it in there. I would never forget it anyway. And I broke my finger and had to have my wedding band cut off. So when they put it back together, they went and smoothed it right out. They smoothed it out like peanut butter. It's gone. It's gone. There's nothing in there. So I got to remember it's up here. June 3rd, 1990. It's not that hard.
Yeah. I mean, I had it in my original wedding ring, and then we at some point replaced our rings, which is weird because I saw another picture of rings that we replaced them with at some point in time. And it's not the current one I'm wearing right now. So we must have replaced it twice.
You replaced your wedding bands?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. We did.
Okay.
At some point they were, we bought them, and I think mine eventually like came apart or something, or started. It broke at the, the underside.
All right.
Thin. So
let me throw it out to you guys, because this is my original. I had to have it cut off twice.
Oh,
and I went for like a year or two without it. So the indentation on my finger went away, which was it was a weird feeling. I know it was not cool, man. I didn't like that. I like the indentation on my finger. I remember looking at the indentation on my. Did I just drop my ring?
It's there. Uh-oh. There it goes. The ring's gone. What were you doing, Ron?
It's on the floor.
What? It's playing with my ring.
I'll find it.
It's great. Everybody Loves Raymond episode where he's spinning his ring, and it goes.
Hold on.
At the hotel.
Siri, Lumos.
Here we
it's
go.
On now.
There you go.
Right. He's looking.
There it is. I got it.
He found it. He found it.
I don't know what I was doing messing with it. All right. Hey, Siri, Knox.
So, it's off now.
There you go.
Yes, I'm aware.
I like the Harry Potter commands
thing.
I like it.
Right.
Oh, what is Susan? I was going to ask you, have you replaced your wedding bands? I know a lot of my friends who are in the construction, they don't wear wedding rings. They don't want to lose it. And it's not necessarily practical. Susan said, what's going on, John? Are you getting a phone call?
These are related to the evacuation calls. This is my dad's calling. I'll just
you have to talk to your dad. Talk to your dad.
Well, okay. Well, but
use your mic and talk to your dad. I can carry this. So Susan said, my husband could not wear them when he worked at a railroad. That's exactly what I was going to say, Susan. Is that a lot of my friends in construction and so on, they wouldn't wear them. They would only wear them on special occasions, like when they were going out or whatever. And so these rings were like shiny and new and wonderful and beautiful. And I'm like, wow, that's great. Did you get a new ring? And I'm like, no, I don't wear it at work. And then I heard from our jeweler. Remember our jeweler, John?
Yes, Benny Hill.
He was not
Bert.
Bert
was his name.
Bert, that's his name.
Gold Thumb Jewelry.
Gold
I remember.
Thumb Jewelers. Yeah. He was like, oh, you should take your ring off every night and let your ring, air out and all that stuff. Because
really, he said that.
Yeah, and I'm like, what? I would never. I don't take this up. Well, until now, and then I drop it and lose it. But So anyway, Susan was saying, my husband could not wear them when he worked at railroads, and now being retired, he wears the rubber or elastic one. Okay.
Okay.
All right. That's, the choice. That's, I've noticed some of my friends now have the big giant, like a black onyx,
Yeah,
like, man, all right.
the whole thing. It's
Right.
funny because I talked at one point about changing the type of ring I had or something, and my wife was like, "You can't just do that. Like, we have to agree on what we're." I'm like, yeah, you're probably right. That would
You
not be a
just
good
do
idea.
that, John. You
It was
can't.
kind of like the time I went and bought a car without getting the complete approval of my wife. I
Well,
thought I
always
had
bring them in on the
approval.
conversation. Yeah,
I
exactly. That's a
thought I had
major.
approval, and I did not have
You did
approval.
not have
And
approval. You thought there
and
was approval, but there wasn't any. All right. I
yeah.
get that.
Yeah, so anyway, my parents just left Venice, Florida, and are
Okay.
now coming here.
Are they on a
They
gondola?
they were in an evacuation zone C,
No, just
which
me.
apparently just got called in Venice, even though
Okay.
they were in a neighborhood where they were about 18 feet above sea level, just to give you the background and why I'm getting all these calls. And they have emergency services at the front of their development. Literally, their power almost never goes out because of that.
Mhm.
Also have the evacuation shelter at the elementary school at the entrance to their community. So like they're built in a good place. Still, brothers, myself, Matt, Gary, the triumvirate of brothers, plus the grandchild apparently did a good enough job of convincing D-Dad
Which one?
that he needed to leave. That it was more than just if flooding came, that it was, tornadoes. What if water lines, power gets breached? What if you're in an area that around you gets devastated?
Supply chain
Yeah,
for
supply chain,
food,
no gas, no
yeah,
food.
all
Yeah,
of
like just
all of the things.
come here.
Oh,
If
right.
nothing happens, great. They've got a Ring video doorbell. They can look out and see sort of what's going on there. And I would rather them be here and safe.
All right. So
My rule is when you get told to evacuate, you're mandatorily evacuate, you should evacuate. Up
friends
to
of
that
mine,
point, it's your choice.
friends of mine were in the Outer Banks many years ago, and there was a storm that was coming up, and they were out on the beach. It was good because usually days leading up to a hurricane, because it sucks all the clouds to it and all
Yeah.
the moisture.
Yeah, it's like
It's gorgeous.
really clear and
It's
gorgeous.
gorgeous.
You're right.
Temperatures are temperate and wonderful and blue
Yeah.
sky, and you just
Yeah.
can't believe
Yeah.
that, the wrath of God is heading towards you,
It's
but
true.
it is. And so
Yeah.
they were out on the beach, and the wife was out on the beach. We're like, what? No, I just want to hang out on the beach. We're on the beach. We're fine. Because they had been told. And then the police came by and said, you guys need to leave. And like, all right, yeah. No, you need to leave like now. And they didn't, and they were still packing up or whatever, or out on the beach. It's a gorgeous day. And then finally they came by and said, all right, we need names and numbers of your next of kin. Please.
Right.
So tell us
No, that's
who to notify when we can't
Yeah.
find you.
If you're staying.
Right. Yeah. And I'm like,
Mhm.
"Oof, okay. That's the message. And so they left. But still, I don't think we've ever had to evacuate. Grace Wife Ever and I were talking about, she was talking about how I had to, never again. When you're in the throes of your job or whatever, it's the, quote unquote, the most important thing. And I was working on a morning show and I did news in Washington, D.C. So I had to spend the night there so I could be, while a hurricane was coming through. So I could be on the air the next morning with the news. The problem is, I had left my wife and 2 daughters and I think a dog at home
Right.
by themselves,
Right.
an hour away or 45 minutes away. So I could do this. Look, you start getting priorities now. It's like never again.
Yeah.
Never, ever again. If anybody ever said that, well, then fire me because I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it. I'll call in from home. But, when they lord your job over you,
Right.
and, it's a condition of employment. Well, you've got to be here to do the news tomorrow. No, I don't. Somebody else can do it. Somebody who doesn't have a wife and 2 kids at home. I did. I left him at home.
Yeah.
Forever will regret that. Forever. Anyway, neither here nor there. I got off the beaten track.
No, but it's appropriate. And honestly, the scoop is like I had an event on Thursday in Charlotte, and on Monday I started seeing that we were going to be under a tropical storm watch, and I was out of town in DC the last time something came our way. Crazy winds and tornadoes nearby, and I just said, you know what, I can't do this again. I can't go knowing this is on the approach. So I started making, arrangements for somebody else to be there.
Yeah.
Just
there you go.
I'm not doing it again. Like you said. Yeah.
Your head's screwy when you're younger. I mean, now I know which side of the bread is buttered, but I don't know why it took me 30 some odd years, and
you get
constantly
older and wiser.
In snowstorms and hurricanes and all that stuff. And are you okay, honey? I'm in a cozy little hotel waiting to go on the air the next day. Never again. But anyway, so I'm in South Carolina.
Where were we?
And everything we did, we went out to eat, and they were showing me all these wonderful places.
Mm-hmm.
So it was their anniversary Saturday morning.
Mm-hmm.
And Stacy made us bacon and eggs, and it was a wonderful breakfast. And then I had to go and do some work. And then John's like, I'm a Philadelphia boy. I have the meat. I'm going to make Philly cheesesteaks.
Yeah, I had bought the stuff to be able to make it while you were here, just in case we wanted to do that. Not realizing, by the way, that we like our time together was very condensed. And we wanted to show Ron different parts of the island, which becomes very difficult, like in 2 days, essentially.
It's a bigger island than you think.
Yeah.
Well, like I'm on an island. I'll see a couple of things. No. Well, we got to go over here to the beach. So we walk out to the beach. And then we got to go here and let's try this place. We went over there.
We got to see the center, mid island. We got to see tourist area. We got to see
the
cat sanctuary.
Which was fantastic, by the way. That was probably one of the highlights.
Yes.
So
cheesesteaks.
I come downstairs. I finish up my whole thing, whatever I was doing, and that office right there where John is talking into that microphone right there, if you're watching the video
here,
and then I come downstairs and John's got his hand, he's got a lot of paper towel on his left thumb, and he's like, yeah, I cut the foul filth out of my finger. And I'm like, oh yeah, what happened? Yes. I just cut it off. I cut off the tip of my finger.
Yeah.
And I did. I'm holding, it's not bleeding because I'm holding pressure on it. And
right.
I'm like, oh, okay. So
I was doing this.
Then he pulls it off to show his wife and me. And it's like, it was just steady. Yeah. Steady. It wasn't pouring, but it was bleeding.
Steady drip.
Like, oh yeah, we need to go get that glued shut because they don't do sutures anymore. Let's go. Come on, John.
And literally when I say cut it off, like there was no flap or nothing to reattach.
You pulled
very, very sharp knife.
First time using it, by the way.
First time using it. And by the way, in my head, as I'm cutting the onions, I'm going, man, I got to be careful with this. Like I have a history of doing stupid stuff.
Do you really?
Oh yeah. And I was thinking that as I'm cutting, and then like everything was going along great, and I was nearing the end of it, and then all of a sudden I was like, oh no.
Yeah. See, now you have a different reaction than I do. I get angry. I got
angry after that.
I get mad. Yeah, no, you were hot. But no, when it happens, I get mad because then the foul filth that flies, and I'm really angry because I did it. I know better.
Yeah. No, I knew better.
I'm not careless. I've worked in industrial kitchens, restaurant kitchens for many, many, many years. I know how to cut properly and tuck the fingers under and put your thumb underneath. And I know you rest the blade on your knuckles. That way, there's no way that the slicing edge is going to come near a finger.
I don't know what I did. I did. I guess I did not tuck the thumb. I think that was it. I think
there was no thumb tucking.
No.
So it was like, all right, John, come on, let's go. I'll drive you to urgent care. And that's what we did. So I spent a while, and John's apologizing to me. I'm like on my phone, I'm like, all right, whatever, man. Just go get that thing glued. Let's go. So that was it. And it wasn't too far away. And it was nice prompt service. And John comes out
with this giant pressure
giant
bandage.
white, but it was all wrapped in gauze.
Yeah.
And it's
I was like,
Snow White. And it was like, but it was also like way overcompensating. It was almost like cartoonish,
right,
in proportion to how big
it's like Mickey Mouse thumb. like you know,
wearing. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, like a Mickey Mouse glove.
Which I thought was great, because then I also thought in a day that thing is going to be gray, because it's just going to be dirty and nasty and all that stuff.
Yeah,
but it wasn't too bad.
No,
but that was the not a highlight, but it was a feature.
It was a feature of the weekend.
Yes. Because I know exactly how John feels. Because I was planning on doing something really cool.
Right.
I have an accident, and now we're not doing anything cool anymore. And then it was like, we're just going out to eat, because Stacy and I both went over and looked at the onions. Well, John,
like searching for the
John was getting ready, and we both went over and we both peer at the onions like, I don't see any red dots. I think
I
probably still keep those. And then you tossed them. You tossed the whole thing.
Yeah, I was like, we tossed them. But no, I mean, I had already cleaned the scene of the crime.
I'm not laughing at you, by the way, John. No, I'm laughing because it sounds like something I totally would do. We all have done.
Yeah, we've all been there and done just kind of stupid stuff. And I like I said, I knew going into this that was something that I've done before. I literally did that at least once before, where I had to go get it was further down, which actually puts it in a better spot. If you do a little deeper cut further down, it was fine. This just would not stop with the gushing. So
now,
yes,
I apparently ate something that gave me
this was later on, by the way.
Unbelievable amount
of
gas. I don't know what it was. I don't know. It could have been the oysters. It could have been, I had oysters on the half shell. That's a big thing in the area. I didn't get the blue points. I had the one down. Blue points are very expensive. That's why I called him what is it, Slicey Kniferton, and he called me Harbor Master.
The Harbor
Master
bringing the boats in. The cruise ships in the port.
You know what, it wasn't near anybody.
No,
but I did have to excuse myself more than once. Without of people's earshot and whatever. Oh my Lord. I don't know what, something was going on, and it was intestinal distress and that's another thing, so you want to have a good time. We were over at Neighbors. We're over the Neighbors. The Neighbors invited us over for cocktails. We went over and had cocktails, and everything was fine there. And then we went out, and we were at this restaurant, and
go ahead, keep going.
What was that?
That's WebEx calling.
Oh, okay.
My work phone call.
Oh, you're getting another call. All right. So I'm like literally we're sitting at the bar at this wonderful restaurant, and I could just feel myself going. It wasn't just a ramp down. It was exponential. It was like, okay. And then I just dropped off. And I think those two could notice, because Stacy was on my right and John was on my left, and we're sitting at the bar, and I just folded my arms and sat back, and I'm like, all right, I'm
it's
done.
Probably time to go.
I'm done. I don't know what it is. I am not feeling good. I don't know what it is. And I thought maybe it was indigestion. I didn't know what it was, but it just was not. The rest of the evening, I'm like, oh no, I'm ruining the night. I'm ruining it because I don't feel well. First John with his thumb, and then me with this. The only one who came through unscathed was Stacy and the cats. The cats were fine. No issues with the cats or your wonderful Chelsea dog. Everything else is good. John and I did everything in our power to kind of screw up the week. I just wasn't feeling. I don't know what it was, but we went over and sat and talked to some nice neighbors, and everything was great. And this is when I remarked to your wife, I'm like, I've lost my drinking mojo. It's gone. I had a cocktail. I had a 7 and 7. I went old school. And then that was it. They're like, hey, we went over to the friends for cocktails, and I'm like, do you want another drink? I'm like, yeah, water would be fantastic. I would love a water. Thanks.
Yeah,
That's me.
good.
And then it's like,
Yeah.
what time is it? 10 o'clock. Ooh, it's past my bedtime.
Plus, you were having to drive home the next day and all that. So you got to kind of moderate on that.
I wasn't even thinking about that. I was thinking about I need to get within a 30-foot radius outside that 30-foot radius for your safety.
Out of the blast zone, as it were.
Oh, it was bad. It was bad. I don't know. All right. Let's move on. You know what? We have a little bit of time. We're going to go over a little late because we started late. But if John is ready, it's ready. Time to get the gray matter working. Fire off the synapses, engage for the lobe, form new neural networks, utilize the cerebrum. As Pooh says, it's time to think. Ding. It's the dun, dun, dun. Question of the day. All right. And this is for pride, not prize. Okay. Here's today's question of the day. Are you ready? Are you ready? Here we go. Mm-hmm. All 4 actors who have portrayed this comic book role are Oscar winners. 2 for that role.
Okay.
Who's the character? All right. Oh, by the way, that's another one. I think Stacy set a record for rolling her eyes at John and my
our radioisms and our movieisms.
So your boy's tired.
Your boy's tired.
We had everything back and forth. It was just all inside jokes, all inside baseball. All we were doing voices and characters and just stupid stuff and singing songs. And she's like, okay, I got okayed. What did I get okayed for?
But okay.
Yeah, but okay. And I had, which was basically you're good. You need to stop. Because I was here it is again. Here's the question.
Hear what you're saying, but okay.
All 4 actors who have played this comic book role are Oscar winners. 2 for that role. Who's the character?
Sorry, I can't
do it.
You can't. I hear
Who's the character? All right, put your answers down in the comment section. And good luck. I'm just glad, and I haven't had anything similar to that incident since. So I don't know. It probably Grace wife ever she goes oysters. I'm like, can they do that?
Oh yeah,
they can.
Yeah, Ron had fresh oysters.
They can do that. I didn't know that. Did you know that?
I think I've heard that. I don't do the oyster thing. We talked about that.
Then I got to tell you about the return.
Now I'm kind of glad I didn't.
Here's today's question of the day again.
Right.
You good. Glad you did.
Yeah.
That's right. You don't eat oysters, period. Anyway.
I eat them fried with bacon.
Okay. Right. Well, these were
Rockefeller.
These are raw on the Rockefeller. All 4 actors who have played this comic book role are Oscar winners. 2 for that role. Who's the character? And here we go.
have at least one guest here.
We have one guest. All right.
Here we go. Ready?
All right, I'm ready. Jim, the Joker.
That sounds right.
That's correct.
I was going to say, well, and it's topical. And here.
Right. There it is. Congratulations, Jim. You get pride, not prize. Carry that around with you all day today, all week.
Nice, Jim.
Until next week. I don't know if we're going to have one next week, John. Are you out?
You out? I need to hold on. Let me look here. Well, I'm here. I'm just hearing noise in the background. Sorry.
Yeah, you are. Okay.
Sometimes I hear stuff that you all don't hear. I got my dog barking and something else is going on. No, next week I'm here.
Voices in your head.
Voices in my head. And then the next week after that, we are out for two, at least 2 weeks, probably.
Okay, so
although we may be able to connect at some point while I am overseas.
Can you name the 4 actors, by the way?
Heath Ledger is one.
Who won an Oscar for
Jack Nicholson?
Correct. Who had an Oscar, but not for that.
Well, obviously the one now, right? The Joaquin
Phoenix. That's correct. 3. And then,
and I'm not a big comic book guy either. Joker. Who else played Joker?
Well, he had very limited amount of time, but it was in Suicide Squad. But it was Jared Leto.
Oh yeah.
Jared
Okay.
Leto, and he won.
But I wouldn't have gotten that one
for Dallas Buyers Club. He won an Oscar for Dallas Buyers Club. So,
I wouldn't have gotten that one.
All 4 actors who have played Joker have won Oscars.
That's pretty cool.
And 2 for the actual role, Joaquin Phoenix and Heath Ledger.
You think that's a prerequisite going in? Well, you can't forgive it. They have.
Well, I think they try to get. You
really
know what?
People.
Oh, you know what? I almost forgot. There's a 5th one.
Really? Who's that?
I totally forgot.
Who?
There's a 5th one. He was in The Batman for just a half second, but he's also. I think he's been nominated for an Oscar, but I don't think he's won. Kogan. Is it Barry? Barry Kogan?
Don't know.
I think is that his name? Cesar Romero. All right. In film. I should have said in film. All right. Thank you. That was somebody's split a hair.
Split a hair, Jimmy. Jimmy split a hair.
All right, never mind.
All
right. So I got to tell you real quickly before we leave. On the way back.
Okay.
So I'm driving on the way back, and I had the final insult, of course, was the 20, almost half hour backup for an accident that did not show up on my
Waze or Google Drive
or
whatever
on
you
my
use.
Google Maps. It did not show up.
Okay.
Didn't even show that there was a backup, and I just sat there. So, and this is right outside DC, so I could smell home. Right, it's like I'm so close.
That's the worst.
And of course, I mean,
absolutely the worst.
Full and complete stop on the highway. Full and complete stop on a major highway. 5 lanes all the way across. Everybody's at a dead stop. There was an accident. It was pretty bad, but it was blocked the left lanes. No signs, nothing on here that said the 2 left lanes are blocked, or you have a speed trap. I'm like, how can I have a speed trap when I'm going 20 miles an hour? Clearly is incorrect. But anyway, that wasn't the story I wanted to tell you. So I took the diuretic medicine on the way home, right? My alarm goes off, take your meds. Took my meds, so now I have to pull over and go to this bathroom, and go to this bathroom, go to this bathroom. So I pull off somewhere, I think in North Carolina somewhere, at a Circle K, right? And I go into the Circle K, it's a convenience store, and I see restrooms, and I go back, and you have to take a right, and I took a left, and it was unisex. So I open it up. Oh my God. It was horrendously bad. It was filled.
Yeah.
Say that. It was filled. And it was old. All right. So there had been no attention to this place.
Yeah.
Whatsoever. And I really had to go.
I think we've all been in this situation, by the way. Somewhere.
So then I came back out and I said, do you guys sell hand sanitizer?
Oh, jeez.
Yes, it's over there. So I went and got the wet wipes that killed 98% of the bacteria, whatever. And I'm, I'm buying them, and I'm like, your bathroom. She goes, well, it's out of order. Where does it say it's out of order? And she said, she pointed at the sign. It was as you walk in, I saw restrooms, but I didn't see the sign. She goes, maybe we should put it on the door. I said, maybe you should.
Yeah.
Maybe you should put it on the door.
That might be a good idea.
And I'm never going to unsee that. That's Shadow, by the way. Shadow is a lovely Sheltie.
Yeah, normally you don't hear that, which makes me wonder whether the proper
Shadow is
on. Yeah.
But yeah, it was stuff nightmares were made of. It was I've seen cleaner porta potties at music festivals. It was wow. And then it was like I had to drive for like another hour after that to just try to forget it. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm sorry. I had to go to the bathroom. It's almost like I should have taken my medicine. You're like facing things in your life you shouldn't have done that led you to this point. I should have taken that exit. Why did I go there? What's wrong with these people? Why wouldn't you put like caution tape? Why haven't they fixed it? Where's the health department?
It's awful.
How can you have that where you're also serving food and drink? How is that even a thing?
Yeah.
I really thought about calling somebody.
Ah,
I did.
nice.
All right. So we're a little over time. So we're going to go. But John, keep us informed. Post up on the Facebook page here. What's going on with the fam when they come in and they're all safe and sound and everybody's good in the
Will do.
Yaglinski clan.
Yeah, absolutely.
By the way, which I thought was funny because the nurse came out to call John to go get his finger.
Yeah. Yeah.
Comes out, we're in the urgent care, and she's like, Mr. John? And
right.
He's just stands
there. Like, I don't even know. I don't know if I want to try that last
I don't
name.
want to. Right. He's like,
yeah, I get that a lot.
It sounds just like it looks. Yeah.
Right. That's what I said. It's phonetic.
Yeah. Glenn Ski.
Yeah.
Glenn Ski. There
not
it is.
Hard.
It's not hard. It's right there.
Yeah.
But it was and another thing I found out about John, because John and I are simpatico Polish, but John's also uber Italian on his mom's side, which I did not know. I never even would have thought about that.
It's a thing. Yeah. We do really good meatball and what manicotti with homemade shells on the crepe maker.
Right. You guys, that's right. You guys were talking about that.
I'm going to stick stick to doing that instead of cutting things up though. Yeah. Yes.
Or do it what the greatest wife ever did, and she bought a mandolin. He's just like, and it's got a guard on it. It's got a guard and a glove. The glove comes with it. That's got metal mesh in it. So yeah, there's no slicing on that thing. Get a mandolin. It's fun.
I will try that.
I haven't sliced on it. She's like, I maybe once or twice, but she just like, I need to get this, and she bought it. And thank God for Amazon. Everything's on Amazon. And it's like,
true.
So John was getting packages from Amazon. It's like, what did I get? You didn't remember what you had. You didn't remember what he had ordered. Well, I get that. He says, "Did your wife say that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, occasionally." It's like, "Oh, what did I get?"
Been slower post storm and stuff, so you kind of have enough time to forget between the moment you order and 3 or 4 days when it shows up. Now
I forgot what I got. What did I get? I don't remember. It was awesome. Oh, Celeste says, "Almost lost part of my finger with the mandolin." Yes, well then that's why you use the guard. Don't actually hold the vegetable that you're slicing, but use the guard. You have to use the guard, which is what Celeste said. And then greatest I've ever had a glove that came with it.
Okay.
So look, glove. So we're gonna let you go. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. I think we're gonna have one next week. I think John said.
Yes, we'll have next week. I'm available.
John and I got to actually see each other, and it was enriching for the soul, John. And I got to thank him personally for helping me launch this. Well, not helping me, launching this podcast for me, so that you and I could hang out. And so to that, I owe John everything, and helped lift me up when I was feeling pretty down after getting laid off. So slice thumbs up from John. From John.
Hey.
And here, I'll sound off the harbor horn.
Yeah. Hold on. Yeah, wait.
Hang on. Here it comes.
Wait, hold on. What?
No.
What?
Where's your instant? There you go. That's my impression. That's me Saturday night. So
it's the Ron and John show.
The Ron and John show. All right, listen. Oh, what song were we listening to on the boat that we were both singing? And it was like, it was Bee Gees. And we got and we hit the harmony, and again, your wife was like,
we were in harmony. And
what are you doing? Stop doing that.
Yeah, we do that. All
right. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Everybody who is if you're in harm's way, please, obviously get to safety. You don't need me to tell you that, but I'll come back and remind everybody, and we'll post up on the Facebook page too. Kind of keep this at top of mind during the news cycle, because it tends to get lost. It tends to get tamped down by other news. But for the people who are involved, this is the most important thing going on in their life. And so we're going to try to remain focused on that. All right. So listen, please take care of yourselves and each other. Please be safe. John Yaglinski, Ron Ross. Love you, mean it. Bicycle.
Bye, everybody. I know. And